Hello, welcome everybody. It's so nice to see you here today. Can you hear me? This feels very strange. Back up this way a little bit. There, okay, there, hi. We're so excited to have this concert of all cello music and cello plus. Cello plus voice, cello plus horn and clarinet. Cello choir, just so many beautiful things. And we're here because we want to make sure that every student who comes to Connect, if they need help with lesson tuition, can still take lessons. So we're really grateful for you donating to support all of our students here that you'll see performing and many students that you may not have met. Our first piece is the Bach Suite, Unaccompanied Suite number 4, and we're really excited to have one of our teachers, Sam, perform that for us. So please welcome Sam.
Woo! Good afternoon. That mic scares me a little bit, so I'm just going to talk like this. I hope you can hear.
Thanks, Ken.
Hello. Hello? Yes, hello. I'm Evan Neccarello, and I have the privilege of conducting this next piece for cello choir by Kim Dienaut. This memento was written last year, or in 2023, within the last 2 years, and is a memorial piece for the composer's sister, Jane, who died at age 26 of breast cancer. And this is a memento of her life, and a little piece of a memory, and it is about 12 to 14 minutes long, depending on how it goes. And it really is a resonating, breathing, and living memory. I think that when I talked to the composer, she talked about influences of early music of Bach and even earlier composers than him. And I think you can hear some of that in this piece, as well as, of course, a modern sensibility. So I hope you enjoy it, and it is my understanding that this is the first performance of this piece of music.
World premiere.
So thank you very much, and we'll get started.
Thank you so much. I believe that our composer is watching via the live stream, so could we give her a round of applause? Kim, they loved your piece. It was wonderful. I know that for a composer, often they write something really, really special and then they don't get it performed or they have to wait a long time. So we're privileged to give that gift to you, Kim. The next pieces are the cello ensemble, which meets regularly once a week. There are lots of ensembles that connect, but this is one of them, our older student ensemble, and it is led by Isaiah. And Isaiah, Isaiah rehearses and works with our students, and he's doing a great job. Thank you, Isaiah.
So much help. It's awesome. So we're gonna play a bunch of musical chairs. So bear with us. actually, and young cello won. But everyone's here. chairs.
All right, next is a very different piece. It's by Zoltan Kodály. And one of the reasons that I love the cello is that we can make so many different sounds on it. And so many people come up to me and say, I love the beautiful, lush, sweet sounds of the cello. And I do too, but I also like the kinds of sounds you're going to hear in the next piece. For this piece, I'm going to just take a minute to tune. This piece is scordatura for an F sharp and a B on the bottom instead of G and C. So have a little chat with your neighbor, and I'm going to change my strings. You really can chat. It'll make you feel less sad. All right, here we go.
notes, so can you hold the mic for me?
Sure.
All right, thank you. Or that. Okay. Oh, I don't need to. Thank you. So I'm here. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Should we maybe get away from that mic though?
Hi. So I noticed we have some kids here, so this speech is partly for them and partly for you guys, the rest of you guys. So I have 3 very important questions. The first one is, what do you call a vampire's dog? A what? A biter? That is a very good answer. I like biter. Actually, the correct answer, according to this anyway, is a bloodhound. Oh, okay, question number 2. Which room has no door, no windows, no floor, and no roof? I'll give you a hint, it grows in the forest. Somebody said it, a mushroom, very good. Okay, and last but not least, what do you call a woodpecker with no beak? It's related to music. Any takers? It's a headbanger, of course. Anyway, I wasn't invited up here to tell jokes, so I'm going to move on to the more serious part of why I was invited up here. But anyway, I want to commend the children in this audience, though. You guys are just fabulous, and I see several of our students here listening with such beautiful intent and passion and appreciation, and I think that's amazing. Let's give them a round of applause, please. So, as you all probably know, I started the Canuck School many years ago, and ever since I started it, we have never, ever turned a student away for lack of money. When it started out, it was a business. It wasn't a non-for-profit, and I owned it, and I actually had just come to Rochester. I was 7 months pregnant with my daughter, and I started the school because I wanted to have a place that my child could express herself and to grow. And so I built the school really with the idea that I wanted a place for my children to grow, and they certainly did. But along the way, a whole lot of other children did too. And so giving money to someone who needed the money, it just came out of the profits, and that was fine because it was just a place for children to grow together, and it was fabulous. There came a time, which a lot of people don't know, where I had started the school in my house, and then I had moved it into the building that it now is in, and it was my first year there, and I really couldn't afford it. I was renting it, and the year before, the building had not been used, so in Rochester, they turned the heat down, and so the temperature, the bills for the heat was much lower than I knew. And so I had budgeted really carefully because we were pretty tight. And as it turned out, they didn't read the meter until April. And when they did, I owed thousands more than I had anticipated. And I still remember sitting on the front steps and crying because I was like, there's no way I can go on. I can't afford this. And unknown to me, a group of parents got together in one of the studios, and because they knew what was going on, and they just decided that they were all going to pay for the next year in advance so that I could pay my heating bill. And they did. And that kept the school going. And what's happening here tonight is a very similar thing. I didn't ask Esther to organize this. As a matter of fact, it all kind of happened without me. And it's a beautiful thing because the school really does need money. We have a lot of students. We have a lot more students now that need help than ever before. And I don't think that's going to change. So, and there's only so much profit to go around. So at a certain point, we do need to have help, and that's what tonight is all about. But it's also about this wonderful, wonderful music that these people have come together very generously to donate and share with the school. It's incredible, really. This concert is just absolutely gorgeous. So I am super, super touched and thrilled and moved to tears again. So I so appreciate what they're doing, and I so appreciate you guys being here. And I just want to do a little bit. I was like reading some poetry a few days ago, and a couple things stood out to me, and it seems like it made sense to talk about tonight. There's this little part of a poem called Outwitted by Edwin Markham, and it goes like this. He drew a circle that shut me out, heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win, because we drew a circle that took him in. And you can just feel the love tonight, just taking us all in. And the other one that I wanted to share speaks to me in a way, it's actually Stephen Sondheim's favorite poem, which I think is interesting. But to me, it speaks a lot to the relationship between the student and the teacher, which is so important. And it's called Come to the Edge. It's by Christopher Logue. It's kind of two voices. The teacher says, come to the edge. And the students say, but we might fall. The teacher says, no, come to the edge. And the student says, it's too high. But they came. And he pushed, and they flew. So thank you very much for coming tonight, for helping our students fly. Thank you so much.
The next piece is written by a composer who lives right here in Rochester. We're really privileged to have him in the audience. David Liptak. We'll acknowledge him at the end, but we just want to welcome him and say thank you for this beautiful piece. I also wanted to acknowledge our teacher Alex, who's not playing today on this program, but does really wonderful work at the school, and we're really grateful that he's working with us as well. Thank you, Alex. Just a brief pause. We're going to welcome in just a minute our next piece, our duo, to the stage, and they have some really fun, awesome stuff for you. If you need to stand up for just a second, please do, and we'll get things set up here. Thank you. awesome program. Can I use this mic? All right, we're going to get started with the next half of our program. Believe me, it won't be another half. I've instructed Patricia and Tara if they would kindly just feel how we're doing, how many songs you'd like. So they have some things prepared. I am just so thrilled that they're here. That's part of why we chose to do this concert today. They were at SUNY Geneseo on Wednesday performing. They're friends of mine, and I said, hey, do you think you might want to play with us for Knack? And we pulled that together to match their schedule. So awesome friends of mine. I cannot wait to hear what they're going to share with you.
Thank you all so much. We're so excited to be here amongst all cellists and cello lovers and cello supporters. Can't thank you enough. We thought we'd kick it off today with a piece that is a mashup of two iconic cello pieces.
use a chopstick to play at the very top range, like a cartoon mouse, and I can't believe I even confessed this to you. Now you know that I can't do it anymore. But just imagine that it went up another one. But anyway, thank you so much. What a pleasure. I can't believe the magic we witnessed with the students that go to this school. What a tremendous program it is. I really do wish that when I was growing up, there was a program that offered improvisation and creativity in music the way this school does. So I feel very honored that we've been invited to play in celebration of this school. Thank you all so much for being here. And we're gonna have up next a song I think you're ready to introduce this song.
Oh, yes. Okay, so this is a cover that we're going to play next by one of my favorite, more obscure indie rock bands called Frightened Rabbit, sorry. The lead singer, Scott Hutchinson, wrote this, and it's called Head Rolls Off. And he passed away, we're going on 7 years, I think, in just a couple weeks. So, all right. Jesus is just a Spanish boy's name. How come one man got so much fame? To enemy, it's pointless to anybody who doesn't have faith. Give me the cloth and I'll wipe my face. When it's all gone, something carries on, and it's not morbid at all. Just when nature's had enough of you, when my blood stops, someone else's will not. When my head rolls off, someone else's will turn. And while I'm alive, I'll make tiny changes to earth. So you can burn me, 'cause we'll all be the same way. Dirt in someone's eyes cried down the drain. I believe in a house in the clouds, and God's got his dead friends round. He's painted all the walls red to remind them they're all dead. And you know when it's all gone, something carries on, and it's not morbid at all. Just when nature's had enough of you, when my blood stops, someone else's will not. When my head rolls off, someone else's will turn. You can mark my words, I'll make changes to earth. And while I'm alive, I'll make tiny changes to earth. Tiny changes to earth. Tiny changes to earth. Tiny changes to earth.
Thank you. We're gonna get a little less pretty now. Hope you're ready. You were still here this morning with those kisses I crave. Now I'm cold in the evening, but my heart's not your slave. What a foolish mistake, one I shouldn't have made, to think you were the one. Why do you have to pretend this is not what it is? If what you really wanted was to have hers and his. But I don't need you with me, taking time from someone, the one I should love. Please try to keep in mind, dear, that I said from the start, this may feel so good, but it's wrong. No more time to be kind, dear, though you'll hear in my heart, you may come on so soft, but you leave me so long. Oh, darling, you drive me insane. It's so hard to hate you with your love on my brain. Too bad for me, too bad for you too. This is not to be, it is not you. You are not the one I should love. How are we feeling, Rochester? Yeah? Yeah. One more, two more. I see two fingers. 5 more. Do I hear 100? No. Okay. So we're changing our set order because you're so generous to us. So even though this song is called We're Leaving, we're going to do another one after this, so don't go anywhere.
Raise your glasses, please, into a toast, for we all merely haunt our ghosts. Let it spill all over the floor. What the hell are you saving it for anyway? Oh, June, July, August, September, let's drink 'em all. And I wanna remember these have been the best years of our lives. And it's a shame, my dear, there's no room for us here, so we're leaving, we're leaving, we're leaving tonight. Ah, ooh, ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, you look lovely, lying wasted on your bed, staring at a photograph of you and your best friends. They said make a cross over your heart, and we swear we'll never drift apart. And it's a shame, my dear, to be leaving them here, but we're leaving, we're leaving, we're leaving tonight. Ah, ooh, ooh, ah, ooh, oh, my heroes, my brothers, where have you gone? There is something in the air, something is wrong. Where is my father? Where's my mother? Where's my sisters? Where's my lovers? Have you all gone over to the other side? And it's a shame, my dear, to be leaving you here, but I'm leaving, I'm leaving, I'm leaving tonight. Ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Thank you. That is a cover by a great band called Devotchka. And we do know that on a Saturday evening in Rochester, you have so many places you could choose to go to hear mariachi cello. So we're so touched that you chose us. And earlier Today, the cello choir performed beautifully the very famous Leonard Cohen tune, Hallelujah. And Leonard Cohen is a very deeply favored songwriter of mine, and we're going to play another of his songs which references that song. So I was like, oh, kismet. So there's an oohing part we do a lot, and you're going to pick it up after you hear it probably once. Please feel free to join us for that. You got me singing, even though the news is bad. You got me singing, the only song I ever had. You got me singing, ever since the river died. You got me thinking of the places we could hide. You got me singing, even though the world is gone. You got me thinking that I'd like to carry on. Oh, you got me singing, even though it all looks grim. You got me singing the hallelujah hymn. You got me singing like a prisoner in a jail. You got me singing like my pardon's in the mail. You got me wishing that our little love would last. You got me thinking like those people of the past. You got me singing, even though the world is gone. You got me thinking I'd like to carry on. Oh, you got me singing, even though the world it went wrong. You got me singing the hallelujah song. Thank you so much. We are very pleased to have some wonderful cellists from here join us now. Are we going to stay here? Should we come down? You know what? And you'll be acoustic, so we're gonna come down.
Improvisation is something that's really important at Connect School. And to me, what I love about improvisation is it's a chance to just be in the moment with your friends and not worry about an audience, not worry about trying to get something perfect, but just sharing a moment. We're going to let you in on that moment tonight. Students, we got just a couple of guidelines for our improv that we're doing right now. Hylan and myself are going to start it and give us a minute, and then you can join in when you want. And would you please, and yes, Miss Alice, please join us. Would you please also, at some point in our improvisation, stop playing? Okay, so you're going to take a minute to listen, enjoy what someone else is doing at some point in our improv. And then, Patricia, would you end it when you feel like we're done? Would you give us a nice cue? So if we're feeling insecure, we got you. All right, thank you. If I'm feeling insecure.
I'll sing.
Sorry, we're improvising with the sounds of our end pins on the carpet.
We're gonna make eye contact. We'll make eye contact with each other too.